Hello, Book 2, Part 2 of my care package, and the other books that I received that I had ordered. The next one on the pile is Peter Quinnell, The Singular Preference, Portraits and Essays. I used to read him 20 years ago plus in Canada. I haven't read anything since, and I have not read this one. And this is 1952 by Collins. It's the essays. Let's see here. The essays collected in this volume were written for monthly and weekly journals during a period of more than 20 years. One at least originally appeared in 1930. Others were published in 1951. So we've got Saints, about 2 or 3 essays for each section. Saints of Literature, 3 Dramatists, the Augustan Age, Regency Portraits, Victorians, novels and novelists, the 20th century, and tale pieces. Oh, he's got Chinese poetry. That looks interesting. Cool. Yeah. Did I say it was what year this is and so forth? 1952. Collins. London Particulars. When I first saw this, I thought it was something different, but it's a memoir of an Edwardian London by C.H. Rolfe. So that should be interesting, and also for my London collection. And here's an Augustan Barrow, William Hazlitt. It's I have another one. Excuse me. That's the same. It's a cheap edition. They had different. They published the main one, and then. Ooh, this is cool. They would publish the main one at full price, then later do a cheaper one. Then they do a real cheap edition later on, sort of like paperback. But that's kind of interesting. It's a little catalog of Macmillan's new 6-shilling novels. It's a catalog of them. That is cool. But anyway, get back to this. This is Augustan Barrow, William Hazlitt. And I think it's Andrew Marvell is the other one that I have that's the same. There's no date on it. But it's the English Men of Letters series. Previous owner's book plate, George Sheriff. But this little catalog's really cool. So let's just pop it in here. So I'm not sure what these are. Is it... Oh, they're actually almost like essays. But they must be all about Hazlitt, but different sections. So that's kind of cool. Here's a very newish looking one. Speaking of books, the best things ever said about books and book collecting. Edited by Rob Kaplan and Harold Rabinowitz, editors of A Passion for Books. I had a brief look through this. It's by Crown Publishers, 2001. And it's just snippets of sort of quotes. It's like you get these books of quotes, and that's what it is. It's just quotes of that people have said about books. Shakespeare, come and take choice of all my library, and so beguile thy sorrow. Another Shakespeare, my library was dukedom large enough. We've seen that before. Evelyn Waugh, No one will write books once they reach heaven, but there is an excellent library containing all the books written up to date, including all the lost books and the ones that the authors burned when they came back from the last publisher. So yeah, that will be fun sort of dipping into and reading. This is really cool. As I said, I tried to make this a few times, and this was near the top the very first time. This is Flora Tristan's London Journal 1840. And Flora Tristan was one of the earliest French socialists and feminists, and grandmother of Paul Gauguin. Between 1825 and 1839, she made several trips to England where she observed the hypocritical concern for propriety among the English upper classes. Nothing's changed. The contempt for women of all classes, and the shocking effects of industrialization on the working class. In this survey of London life in the 1830s, she also reports on the hideous lives of the inhabitants of the Jewish and Irish ghettos, and of London's estimated 100,000 prostitutes, as well as conditions in factories, prisons, and madhouses. George Pryor Publishers, 1980. It's translation of Promenades dans Londres by Dennis Palmer and Giselle Pincetti. And it's got nice end papers with Thames, nice wraparound photo of Thames. Yeah, this is going to be obviously in my London collection, but very interesting. A Samuel Johnson biography by Peter Martin. And that's 2008. It's a biography, obviously, and almost 500 pages with the, or just over, with the index and so forth. There's insets of photographs. It's a gift aid item, so it might have been purchased at a good. Well, a lot of stores. I was thinking of the bookshop, but it may not be. Henry James and Edith Wharton, Letters, 1900 to 1950, edited by Lyle H. Powers. And this is somebody's previous name and date when they purchased it, I assume. Weidenfeld and Nicholson, 1990. And this should be good because it looks like it's got both them back and forth, their letters back and forth, which is always nice. It's much better than just reading the letters themselves. It's always nice to have the responding correspondent letters. Now, I on an auction site, I've just recently won a 4-volume with dust jackets collection of Arnold Bennett's letters. It looks in pretty good shape. A little rough around the edges, a little shelf wear, but they look fine. Got them extremely cheap. Basically, no one's bidding, so I just threw on last week. I threw on the lowest bid on there, and no other bid, so I've won it. Extremely cheap, less than a paperback. For 4 hardcovers. So that should be interesting if I get it. So again, it wasn't something I was looking for. I was looking for something else, and it popped up. So there we go. This is quite nice. It's 3 of 5 volumes, I think it is. This is extremely nice. I used to have a couple of volumes and read them in Canada. I never had the full set, but I'm definitely going to build the set now, especially with dust jackets. These are nice. It's Osbert Sitwell's autobiography. It's called Left Hand, Right Hand. It's 5 volumes, and this one here is the 4th volume, Laughter in the Next Room. Sitwells were an interesting group, let's put it that way. And Osbert's nonetheless interesting. So what's this here? It's a news clipping in the back. I like these news clippings at times, despite them. It's the Times Literary Supplement from Friday, June the 3rd, 1949. And it's A Great Day's Sir Osbert Sitwell's memoirs, so it's a review. Yeah, it's a whole page out of the Times Literary Supplement from 49. That's cool. But yeah, so I need 2 more volumes to complete it. I need volume 3. They're in fantastic condition. And clean. This one has 2 of them have 2 dust jackets on, so I'm not quite sure. This one is a bit rough underneath. I don't know. It's a bit smaller, so I don't know if it means that it was a later printing that somebody's put on, but that's fine. It doesn't mean that it's me to have a first of these in any shape or form, but after seeing the jackets, they're really nice. And this one's volume 1, The Cruel Month. That's 1945. And volume 2, I think it is here, The Sacred Tree, is 1946. And that's just a gorgeous jacket as well. And this one here is the first one, 1945. Volume 4 is 1949. So yeah, I need volume 3 and volume 5. So yes, that'll be prized. A nice set. So thank you very much. You know who you are. I'm flabbergasted that this has happened. Someone I don't even know, other than just corresponding via email for a few months now. And it's just amazing how people are so friendly. But yeah, so thank you. Now to the books that I received today that I ordered. A little slim book here. Tiny little slim book. It's 1 of 500. It was a limited edition. And there's just the paper on there. Books on books. But it's 1,000 books on books by R.D. Pratt. There happens to be a letter from Pratt. Not signed, though. But it's one copy of 1,000 books on books. £2, 2 shillings, 0 pence, to an N.G. Ogilvy, Esquire, from 25th of April, 1967. So, hey, what's the date today? We're nearby that date, aren't we? Or are we past that date? Anyway, I've forgotten what date it is. That's what happens. But yeah, no, it's a bit of a bibliography of books about books. It's very small. It's signed by this R.D. Pratt as well. It's a selection of English books on bookmaking, book selling, and book collecting. 1966, the Merry Thought Press. So, I didn't know what to expect with that, but I thought, well, yeah, there's a little bit of a bibliography there. Cheap? Yeah, I'll give it a go. And here's a volume of A. Edward Newton's collection of essays, The Amenities of Book Collecting. It's the Bodley Head. This is quite a nice edition. There's some foxing on the cloth band there, and you can see there as well, but the spine is quite nice. A nice frontispiece with Makepeace and Dickens in caricature. And the full title is The Amenities of Book Collecting and Kindred Affections by A. Edward Newton. And it was published in 1920. It's in really good shape. And yeah, these are longer essays though, but they'd be lovely to read. But I don't know, I'd have to split them up in two. I don't know if that could be done. They're like, 35 pages. I can't do them, I don't think, in even 30 minutes. I don't think it'll work. But the book collecting abroad, book collecting at home, old catalogs and new prices, association books and first editions, what might have been, James Boswell, his book, A Light Blue Stocking, a ridiculous philosopher, a great Victorian, Temple Bar then and now, a macaroni parson, Oscar Wilde, a word and then a word in memory. And there's a whole raft of illustrations throughout here. It's typographically, it's quite interesting, especially for the time. They were getting better at doing this, but let me find. There's several pages to example that, like inset pictures into the text and have the text wrap around. Let's see. There's a lot of facsimile of writing on pages, so that's quite nice. It's a nice little volume. I'm getting quite a few of his stuff now. The first one I had was that Greatest Book in the World, I think it was called. It's back on the shelf here somewhere. No, there's no listing. Yeah, it's interesting. Somebody paid, looks like 12 shillings 6 pence for this, but also at some other time 20 shillings, so a pound, or is it 21? Almost a pound for it in old money. Here's one. It's a bit rough, but it's old. It's quite darkened on the spine. It's got a Maurice Pembroke Fitzgerald's bookplate in it. I have looked it up. Name comes up, but I don't know if it's when the person lived. It fits. It was he was a military man, but it may or may not be. More information needs to be sourced. This is The Great Book Collectors, Charles and Mary Elton. And it is 1893, this edition. And it goes through classical book collectors, Ireland, Northumberland, England, Italy, Oxford, Duke of Humphreys books, and Library of the Valois, Italy, the Renaissance, and so on. It looked interesting, and there was a newer reprint that was really, really pricey. It was like 30 or 40 pounds for it, and then this one for literally a few pounds. And I thought, well, it'd be nicer to have the older edition anyway. So, and it's solid. It's, as I say, it's a bit rough, but it's all there. And I'm happy with that. Here we go. This is... Yeah, there's 4 books that I got. Oh, I thought I was missing one. This is Oak Knoll Press, The Two Forgers. A biography of Harry Buxton, Foreman, and Thomas James Wise. by John Collins. It's Oak Knoll Books, and published 1992. So it's a biography of them. There's a photograph that's in here. I don't know if it's a previous owner's photograph or is it somebody else. It's just a photo stuck into the book. Okay, interesting. It's not that old of a book. It's obviously somebody standing in front of old books, if you can see that. So you get the glare. Yeah, you see the leather-bound edition. So I don't know. The face looks vaguely familiar. I wonder if anybody knows who that is. Jason, Byways in Bookland. Do you know who that is? It could be a dealer or a collector. You might know who that is. The face, as I say, there's some vague resemblance to it, but I can't think of who it is. But getting back to the book, Oak Knoll Press, or Oak Knoll Books, 1992. Oak Knoll Books is named after A. Edward Newton's house that he had. He had this big house and his huge collection. He died with approximately 10,000 books, and I doubt there was any lightweights in that collection at all. I'd love to get the catalog for that. It's apparently like 4 volumes, at least 3 or 4 volumes. That would be cool to get, but you can get most of the volumes fairly cheaply, and then there's one volume that's missing, or you buy the whole set, and it's very expensive. So I'm not rushing for it at the moment, that's for sure. But there we go. That's the book haul today. So 4 measly, like, it's compared to, I don't know how many there were. There must have been 25, 30 books. I don't know. Didn't count them. And then my paltry 4 that I received, that I purchased, sort of pales in comparison. I just don't know where I'm going to put all this stuff. So it's like, over the last couple of weeks with the other one, it's like I've gained about 60 books by approximately, or more. So, and there's still more coming than I had ordered. I did a strange order off of Amazon. I remember I was saying, and I think everybody knows, that occasionally Amazon will drop prices, like extremely cheap, just to almost nothing. And I've been able to get some that are really cheap. So I've been able to actually filter and find these. So I went through and I spent £10 for, I think there's 15 books coming, brand new books that are expensive books, but I spent £10, £10 exact, for 15 books if they all come, because there's some saying, oh, there's a delay, so I don't know. So I think some of them might get canceled. But yeah, 15 books, all brand new, and a few of them were like 80, 90 pounds, were full price. And they're all, like, I felt, I just bought things that I was interested in. There was one I took a punt on because it was 25p. It's one of these reprint ones that come up all the time, and they're usually very expensive. I was just curious for 25p, because, well, the subject sounded interesting, a reprint of a book. I can't remember what it was at the moment, but I wanted to see what the quality was for these things, because I've heard some people say, oh, they're marvelous, they're marvelous. And then I saw a picture one time of something. The book was a large book, like, large book like this, and it had small little thumbnails of like 6 pages on each page of the book. You couldn't read it. It was like a very poor photocopy, and they charged like 80 or 90 pounds for this to somebody. So I think it's the same publisher. So for 25p, I had to buy this just to see. There were a lot of them that were cheap, but this one looked like if it was interesting, then at least I got something that, I mean, it was readable. Then I've got something of interest that I can read and pass on or whatever. But anyway, I'll show those. But I think they're coming in straggling. They're coming, so I'll put all those aside and wait till they all come, and then I'll let you I'll show them off here. I'll have to remember the prices, but yeah, it was 15 bucks for 10 pounds. I just had to do it to see. So anyway, thanks a lot, BookTube. I'll be back later with an essay. I'm still deciding on what to do for the essay. Take care. Bye.